Hey guys, so boss number 2 in here, Horridon. A lot more horrible than the previous boss in terms of difficulty. Just a real quick note, the trash leading here with the little shadow priests over the little bridge that blows you all around with the spirits that can wipe you really fast. Those spirits do damage if people are nearby. You can spread out, kind of like taunt them back and forth across the room, and you can pull them all the way back into Jinrock's room if you're having trouble with that trash. But honestly, the best way of taking care of it is just to find the sweet spot right next to the wind bridge, like right as it's starting. Just pull one at a time there, just clump up, burst heal and burst DPS him down, make sure nobody's AFK for trash, and then that's the smoothest way to get him down, just one at a time, have a tank pull him back. Okay, so Horridon, basically tanks have some pretty critical roles here. The one tank that's going to be taking Horridon is going to be taking increased damage stacks over time. They do need to taunt swap off of it eventually, but if you do the phases fast enough, you can have one tank just on Horridon the whole phase per door, and there's 4 doors, so you're just going to have like each tank alternating which door. So that's important. What that tank also needs to do is hug kind of in his head, like you can see in our video here. The tank that's tanking Horridon is in between his feet. See, that's because when he does his attack where he does his cone on either side of his tail and head, the closer you are to his feet, the less distance you have to move out of that cone. So that's you can avoid taking damage by doing that little simple trick because it's a cone. So the closer you are to it, less damage taken. Duh. Alright, the other tank, your most important role is to always make sure you have aggro on the ads. There's going to be tons of ads just swarming you. You really need to be good at picking them up. If you haven't gotten a tidy plates sort of add-on to see aggro or threat, you really need to pick that up because the stray ads need to be picked up right away, and you can't be having them like going on raiders, and you especially don't want it going to the tank who's tanking Horridon. Also, another helpful thing here is the ads have a priority system, and the priority system will help with aggro if you can mark it. So macro a mark for skull somewhere into your buttons, like your primary attack, and then your raiders will always know which target you're focusing, and we can focus our DPS on that one target. That should reduce aggro problems and make everything go smoother. Now, this is the first door, kind of the easiest, but as a general rule of thumb, on this fight, if there's something that can be dispelled, dispel it. That's a healer's role. If there's some shit on the ground, don't stand in it, because it will probably kill you. That goes for Horridon, shit on the ground like this stuff, where he does his cone and his thrash back and forth, or things that the ads are putting on the ground. And if there's something that can be interrupted by the ads, or disarmed, or kited or something, do that, because the ads can really make this encounter difficult very quickly if they're not really controlled or focused down. And then for the DPS priority targets, ads are going to be coming in from the door, depending on what tribe is out, but there's also going to be ads coming down from the sky. As a rule of thumb, always blow up the ads that are falling from the sky first. They're always the most dangerous. In the previous one, it was the Waste Walkers. They were the ones putting pools in the ground. They were the ones putting out this debuff thing that needed to be dispelled. So they were the most important that needed to die right away. In this one, it's these little priests. The priests are putting the shit on the ground. They're the ones that are putting poison all over the raid. I mean, they're the ones that are causing the most havoc. So you want to always single target focus them down first. I know this is a fight that looks fun for AoE DPS, but the quicker you are at single targeting down the guys who are coming in from the sky, the easier everything will be. And also as a trick here, this is our first attempt here that we got the farthest on. We were 3 healing this part. We're actually going to wipe, and I included it because I didn't fraps the second part where we actually did kill him, but make this fight go smoother and just try to stack extra DPS and try to cut out more healers if you're having trouble, because the faster these things go down, the quicker you can do the tank swap into the next phase, the less damage is going out by the things that they're putting out, like the dots and stuff on your raiders. Pretty much everything just goes really smoothly if you cut out more healers in favor of DPS. So that was our trick for this as a 10-man. We were 3 healing it, dropped it to 2 healers, and it was like a breeze. So in this phase here, these Venomancers also spawn little copies of themselves that have less health. Switch off of the Venomancer like priests and then kill the little spawns that they're having before going back to them and kill it. That's how you kill them. That's just like one trick with this particular door number 2, is that there's actually 2 ads you kind of have to kill because they'll summon copies of themselves. Okay. The way you're pushing phases, it's kind of hard to see in this video, but the way we're pushing them here is these Dinomancers are coming down, and they start channeling a heal into Horridon. One of those things that needs to be interrupted, quickly switch to them and blow them up right away. This is because once you blow them up to 50%, they drop a little yellow orb on the ground. We have the tanks clicking on the orb as soon as it drops, and that causes Horridon to smash into the door, and it stops summoning ads. The ads on each door is kind of like a mini soft enrage if you fall behind, and you'll see here that this door number 3 is actually the hardest door to do. We do fall behind here, and it's because just like we're getting overwhelmed. We actually started using heroism in this part here so we could quickly take everything out. But yeah, the Dynamancers, that's how you push each phase. It's more important to get them down than anything else, and then of course go back to prioritizing ads in the sky. Now in this particular part, very difficult because the things that are going out, like in the previous door, door number 2 was poisons going out. Door number 1 was magic. This is diseases. I'm the only one in my raid can dispel diseases, and this is the actual, like, this is actually the most healing intensive part of the fight, is this disease portion. So couple ways to handle it. The diseases aren't being applied by the guys from the sky. The guys from the sky on this particular door are the ones summoning these little ice orbs that one-shot you. So they need to go down first, of course, but the disease guys also are just putting out these crazy amounts of damage under raiders, and it kind of takes a little bit of finesse to know which ones to dispel, because if they're melee swinging at you, and you dispel that person, they're just going to keep getting more diseases stacked onto them. Even though you just dispelled it, it's just going to keep getting more diseases. So you kind of have to see, are they still getting hit and still getting more stacks of disease? Then try to dispel them that way. So it's a little bit trickier on that end. But, you know, just the best thing to do for that door is just try to go through that phase as fast as humanly possible, because the diseases are coming from the ads that are last on the priority list. If you do manage to get it down, you get to this phase, which is a little difficult too. More so because of the low healer mana, more, you know, than anything else. But what these ads in this phase do is they all cleave, so make sure that as a melee you're not standing in front of the cleaves. The bears are the ones that are falling from the sky, and just like in the second door, this fourth door, the ads that are coming from the sky, once their bears are dead, they actually hop off their bears and you have to kill them again. So it isn't quite as easy as just like kill that one target. I just demonstrated here how you should try to kite Horridon. This is something that's going on throughout the entire fight. He'll periodically select someone and charge them, and then when he charges them, he'll immediately do that thrash in the front and behind. The tank positioning here for the boss that's tanking Horridon, just try to keep him sort of parallel next to the door so that the charge people are right there and you don't have to like chase him all over the room after he charges them. And if you do get picked for the charge, just try to point the boss like as best you can away from where the mobs are, so the raid has to minimize movement, and he'll charge you away from the raid, and then he'll do his thrash on either side and hopefully be safe away from your raiders. Anyway, so back to this door. We're killing the bears. That's our priority target. Shaman pop off the bears, you have to kill them, and these little lightning totems are what they summon on the ground, so you kind of have to move along the wall here because it'll start filling up with lightning. Just like in the previous door where they'll be summoning those little ice balls that fill up the room, you need to like move sideways and make sure you're not filling them up. And just like the previous door where they were summoning pools of poison that kind of fill up the room, you need to scoot along the door. And then before that, it was the Waste Walker summoning sand traps on the floor. You need to scoot along the door. You see there's like a recurring pattern here, so that's why you have plenty of space in the arena to move around. If you do manage to get the Dynamancer at this phase, interrupt him, kill him, get that orb out, select the orb, and then you're going to go into the last phase of the fight. You're almost done, you're almost in the home stretch. This is kind of where a lot of people heroism, but like I said, we started doing it with the disease door because door number 3 was the hardest for us. But basically, one ad comes down, you see him coming out of the corner here, he's the guy with the big sword. Blow him up soon as possible. He starts doing a stacking, like soft and rage, just starts doing more and more damage the longer he's alive. So kill him. However, here's like a trick to killing him. When you do kill him, Horridon enrages and he starts doing wicked, insane amounts of damage, and the tanks are already like taking insane amounts of damage, and if you go into that phase for too long, you're going to have some dead tanks and a dead raid. So the trick to doing that there is try to get Horridon low on health before kind of pushing it. You don't really want to waste a whole lot of time pushing it while this big ad is out, so you kind of want to be doing it as the fight's going. And it's kind of easy to do so because Horridon himself actually takes more damage taken every time you kill one of the doors. Like every time he smashes his head into a door and you move to the next phase, he starts taking more damage taken. Just don't push him below 35% until you get that big ad out. Anyway, this is our kill. We're 2 healing it here. My mana's a lot better. Everything just went way smoother. 2 healing it. But you can see in this last phase, the tanks are just literally taking it up the butt. Insane amounts of damage, but it's kind of a bum rush to the end once you kill that big ad, and Horridon enrages, and he's taking way more damage now, so I'm abusing Atonement here. And then, yeah, you kill him, get the loot. You know, if you're having trouble, just keep bashing your head against it, trying different tactics, because this is definitely one of the harder bosses we've done. Good luck, have fun.